Scientology was accused of practicing psychiatry without a license. In 1954, it became a church and adopted the costumes and titles of Christian ministers.
It was a real farce, if you will. I was in there. I had to become ordained. I mean, I was Reverend Franklin Friedman, but I mean, I never used it in any religious manner. In the church, it's a big joke. I mean, they joke about it all the time, how they fool the public thinking that we're a religion, etc., etc. It was LRH's idea to do that. The purpose was to give the public the image that this was a church. And the Scientology organization is the farthest thing from a church I've ever seen.
But it's called itself a church since the 1950s, and its founder is treated with religious devotion. Most new religious movements have a guru and author of their sacred texts, and Hubbard is Scientology's. The church stands by all the claims he made about himself. He was a science fiction writer who reportedly quoted George Orwell in saying that if a man wants to make $1 million, he should start his own religion. Where his past was undistinguished, Hubbard invented a more impressive life story, making himself a nuclear physicist and decorated war hero. As Dianetics is supposed to make one healthy, he concealed his many illnesses. In the late 60s, Hubbard took to the high seas in an old Channel ferry called the Apollo.
I don't think you could make anything out of that, like Hubbard killed people in Mac.
Scientology was becoming increasingly unpopular with several governments. On the Apollo, Hubbard created Scientology's elite, the Sea Organization, or org, complete with naval ranks and uniforms. Its members signed contracts lasting 1 billion years, and military discipline prevailed, with harsh punishments for those who offended against the founders' rules or ethics. Hubbard called himself the Commodore, and was waited upon by a hand-picked team of teenage girls known as the Commodore's messengers. Dee Dee Reisdorf became their commanding officer.
I was actually born into Scientology. When I was 13, we joined the Sea Org. The whole idea of being in the Sea Org is that you were the ones who were here to make the world a safe place. The Sea Org was special. There was what we called the WOG world.
The what?
The WOG world.
What did that mean?
Anything and anybody who wasn't involved with Scientology was the WOG world. What now I like to call the real world. But at that point, that was what, we considered people out there as the WOG world.
Another girl sailor was Hannah Whitfield. She was able to observe Hubbard's character in close detail.
There were two distinct sides to him. One was an incredibly compassionate side. He was a very understanding, rather humanitarian man at times. The other side was what I would call bordering on, it's not a popular word, but bordering on insane or psychotic. He would go into mad, screaming rages where he would be bellowing at the top of his lungs, sometimes for minutes, sometimes for hours on and off. I've actually seen that.
Do you ever think that you might be quite mad?
Oh, yes. The one man in the world who never believes he's mad is a madman.